It is, however, problematic to all men that the respect of men by society is so far down that when Gloria Steinem was asked on the Dick Cavett show by Dick Cavett, well, do you love men? She said, no, you can't love people who have hurt you, referring to the entire male gender. All right? You can't do that, okay? Out of that mentality of feminism, the headwaters of now, okay, came a number of shoots of thought that were disempowering to men. It was fashionable, and still to some extent is fashionable, that people would write in papers as well read as, say, the San Francisco Chronicle, columns in which the assertion was basically made, all men are dogs. Okay? And you would just open a paper and read this fact. Okay? You know, I was watching a dating show the other day, and they were joking about the fact that all men are dogs. Men are not more than dogs. They are also people. And it is difficult for a male to take this as lightly as some would. And particularly when a man realizes, if he is any intelligent at all, that a comparable article could never be published about women. Right. You would never see in print, okay, an article that stated all women are dogs. It would never be printed. The reason it would not be printed is because there would be a landslide of hate mail that would never cease. Yeah. And heads would roll. Now, what message does this telegraph to the male? That he exists in a society in which it is open season on his character. And there is no constraint on that. And that he is in a singularly disadvantaged position, in that it is okay to malign him, and it is not okay for there to be an equivalent retaliation. Right. This most elegantly defines the psychology of today's male. This perception, and somewhat truthful perception, that if all things are equal, all things are not equal. Right? And that women in the home have internalized this dogma to the extent that men are disrespected in the home. And that women are not serviceful and surrendered to men, and therefore do not honor men or respect men particularly. Not for their hunting excursions, not for their masculine pride, not for anything in which a man would take pride. And really not at all. And therefore, in the areas of a man's potential dominion or expression of nobility and character, out of work, no respect, okay, not from society, not from the judicial system, not from his wife. Unsupported overall. And you see this psychology has evolved in men through their observations and experiences in the judicial system, in the divorce court in particular, in which a man is not on a level playing field with respect to custody. A man has these children, but the mother certainly has a superior claim. And there may be a case made for that, but it is nonetheless demoralizing to a man who loves his children, okay, to be separated from them on account of his maleness. Right. Even though he can appreciate the logic of woman as nurturer. He cannot appreciate the biased altogether. He feels somewhat disenfranchised in that environment. And when it comes to the alimony payment, he feels even further disenfranchised in the many cases he either experiences or hears about, in which a lazy woman will exact alimony from a hardworking man and not get a job even though she can. The court will support her in this. And he will work 2 jobs because she does not want to work 1 job. Okay? This is a failure of ethics on the part of the woman, quite obviously, but it is a monstrous failure on the part of society and the judiciary to support a woman in her rather irresponsible and unethical drive to simply steal. To simply destroy the man's possible life just in order to be lazy. The fact that men know stories about this all the time, they are very much impressed by the fact that they are victims in this society. They are not, their rights are not upheld in these, at least, ways. Okay? And again, therefore, to a man, all things being equal, things will not be equal. So much of this is due to the fact that a man is a killer by trade, certainly by aspiration and inspiration. Huh? Whereas when a small animal crosses the road, if it's an edible animal, the guy will certainly steer toward it. A woman would prefer to steer around it. Okay? This really, in a nutshell, demonstrates something about the difference, at least in Appalachia, okay? Between the opportunistic hunter, right, and a nurturer, okay? Superior physical skills and the instinct to kill gets you about no far, okay, in the modern age, except in the military. You've got there a vestigial, anachronistic, dangerous, and stupid skill. It doesn't. It has created a situation in which the whole society has turned against you and your kind. Because they know that violence and killing is not an acceptable evolutionary adaptation in this age.
Right.
In this age of crowding and vanishing species, huh? No. So what do you have? You have guys over at the foxhole, okay, complaining about the cost of fishing licenses. The rising cost of fishing licenses and the scarcity of fish. And the catch and release policy. You know, think back. You're a pygmy, okay? You have a blowgun and a bow and arrow, huh? And there's nothing to hunt. Who are you now, oh great hunter? What does it mean, catch and release? What does it mean they're out of fish? What does it mean there's no game? And what does it mean that you have to pay the man to catch game? You once roamed wild and free. You did not pay anybody except God for your deer. They're not $10 a deer. Oh, God. You gave your soul to the divine for the fact of a deer. You didn't need to give $10 to the hunting license man collecting taxes on the deer. Hey, this sounds trivial, but believe me, when you take the average guy in Gardner and you stick him with an expensive fishing license, he feels exactly like an American Indian would have felt. What are you telling me? Are you degrading me? Are you telling me that I, a man, have to pay you, a man, to get a deer? I am a man. I get a deer from God. I don't get a deer from you. I don't owe you. That's why they complain bitterly and interminably about these very small things. Okay? It's not the money. It's the principle. It's what they've been reduced to, a groveling beggar at the hand of bureaucracy. Can you imagine a Maasai warrior going for permission to shoot an enemy or a deer? No. How does he feel? He's a warrior. He's not a groveler. He's made his entire existence based on pride, honor. You can't stick a man into this situation without degrading his pride. You see, not a real man. Not any man. So they all went to Alaska, where they don't have to talk to anybody about it. They just go out and shoot. It's the last frontier where you don't have to get a license to kill. And so then man is reduced down to perhaps a hunting license, maybe a boat, no job, a woman who disrespects him.
LaTanya, you're a smart cookie, but when it comes to Blink, your cake's missing a little icing.
Definitely cleaning up. I'm a slob.
All right, he said when it comes to, card for me, please, to listening.
Reggie, what? I don't listen to you.
That's the problem. You talk too much. You gotta start listening.
Hey, Reg, you just answered.
Listening. Just like the directions, really.
I'm not listening to you.
You just see the first letter and then you make up the rest of the word.
I can't hear you.
Talk to the hand.
And he has the problem that he needs to learn. And Gloria Steinem said it. Men evolving nonviolently is the pervasive modality for the rehabilitation of violent men and domestically violent men. Men need to evolve, it's true, out of the dark ages. It's just that the adaptation is slow in coming and it's not quite as easy as one would hope. Huh? And it all comes home to you when you understand the man's ability to handle his wife or a modern woman by nonviolent means. But they want a man who can, quote, handle me. And if a man can't handle me, I really don't respect that man. You can hear that out of the mouth of any woman. I mean, I saw on a show the other day, this woman went out there and she talked to the camera and she said how she was going to cream everybody and she was the queen of Sheba and she was going to run roughshod and everything else, right? And so she got on the date, okay, and of the several guys that were vying for attention, one of the guys had a little interlude with her and sat down and she started to run roughshod over this guy and he turned the tables on her and he said, look, quit that, here's this. Okay, so then in the interview afterwards, she says to the camera, You know, that was unbelievable. That was fantastic. I started to give him my whole thing. I was doing my whole thing, and he said, quit it, and then he told me what to do. That was fantastic. And she was thrilled, okay? This girl, she was out for blood, okay? She went in there with a full intention, you know what I mean? And she came out of there happy because that didn't work. Go figure, right? It's not that surprising. It just shows the fact that the woman is the one who is protected for all those thousands of years by that warrior. Huh. Now, truly, she has something on the fact that her man is a warrior. And he can handle her, at least.
Right.
And she has a tremendous disrespect for the disempowered, emasculated man of today. This is why she's provoking him. This is why she is, you see, disrespecting him. This is contributing to it. The fact is, he cannot handle her. He doesn't have the tools to handle her. In reality, he is defeated by her. Huh? And this to a Maasai warrior is so bad. So disgraceful. A man has nothing if not dignity. To simply lose, to simply be defeated, to not even know how he was defeated. So bad. So sad. So demoralizing. And to be demoralized makes it worse and creates a spiral in which not only is the woman disgusted that she won, she's disgusted that he took it so hard. She doesn't know which is worse, that he let her win, or that he was depressed afterwards. But I'm talking about suburbia. I'm talking about all the condos, all the homes in America. This is what's happening in those homes, you know, in general. And there are many relationships that are far above this level. And not many.